Welcome to another edition of Impact with DBO. Today, I'll be talking about contract. I discovered that breach of contract has been an issue in our industry. Every day you open newspaper, you see one artist or a manager dragging. It's becoming worrisome that we don't respect contract. We cannot operate an industry where everybody just does whatever it likes. That's why I decided today to talk briefly on contract. I've read so many. There was even something I read a few days ago where a Sierra Leonean who engaged, I think Ashake and one other of our artists, and they flagrantly breached the contract. Those things are not speaking well of our industry in Nigeria. We are the most populous country in Africa. We should use that population to our own advantage. But when businessmen deal with us with great caution, it's not very well. I want to encourage us to begin to try our laws in courts. Yeah, we have laws of contract, but we don't try it. We do things and just walk away. That's why I'll be focusing today on those elements you need to prove a breach of contract. That means we have cases of breach of contract, but rarely, hardly do we take these things to court. Let's begin to try it in court. When you feel you have been cheated, a while ago it was Davido and Amaju Pinnick. It was very messy, and you can't just at that level. It shouldn't be an artist of Davido status and Amaju Pinnick who has proven his methods in the society. So we need to begin to look at this critically and standardize the industry. That is why I chose today to talk about those just 4 elements that you need to prove, because it is not just enough to take a case to court. It is more than that. You must be prepared to argue your case and to tilt the judge to your side. So in the case of breach of contract, where you felt a contract has been breached, first thing you need to prove is that there was a contract, that there actually really a contract is in existence. You must convince the judge that there has been a contract. A contract can be implied, but a contract of this nature, when it comes to music engagement, it is advisable that it is written down. And what do you need for a contract to be in existence? There must be an offer clearly stated. There must be an acceptance of the offer. If there's an offer, there's an acceptance. Then there must be consideration. There must be something in between that. If you're able to establish that, yes. I also agree that not all contracts are written. Some are implied, like I've said before. But in this case, it is always the best to write everything down, to state the terms of the contract down. And when it is done, it is stated there, then you can append your signature and it becomes a contract. And you may have witness or not. A contract exists at the meeting point of two minds when the two of you agree. Another thing I've noticed in our industry is one side, either the producer or the manager, brings out the contract, throws it to the artist signs. No, it is at the point where the two of you agree that the contract exists. So first thing you need to prove to the judge is that really a contract was in existence. Then secondly, you must be able to prove that even you, the plaintiff now, who is taking this thing before the court, before the judge, has substantially performed the contract. You have complied with the contract, because if you don't comply with the contract, you are already providing a leeway for the defendant to escape, that I have done my own part. And even where you cannot do your own part, then there must be justification for it. The moment you breach a contract, the defendant has every right to go along with that and say the contract has actually been breached before he engaged in all the legalities. So you must be able to prove that you as a plaintiff, you have done your own part. You have substantially complied with the dictates of the contract. Then in situation where you have not, there must be justification that I couldn't do this because of this. For instance, if the contract states you report at the venue 4 p.m., but inside that contract also, the producer or the sponsor or whatever was mandated by the contract to get you a cab to take you there or a flight to take you there. So you must be able to prove, I've been at the airport, but I couldn't get a cab as promised. So you did not fulfill, but due to an action or inaction of somebody else. And the third thing is, you must also convince the judge that the defendant failed to perform, to align or to adhere to the spirit of the contract. You must be able to prove to the judge that the defendant whom you have brought to the court failed in his own duties as it regards the contract. That's very, very important. You must be able to establish that these are the things that is expected. These are the things that are expected from the defendant. But unfortunately, he didn't do it. He failed woefully. If by the time you're able to prove those things, the judge will decide to listen to you. And lastly, which is also very key, what are the resulting damage available to you? You don't just go to court. You must also establish at the court that their damages are waiting you because of the action or inaction of the defendant. You have incurred some loss. If you are able to prove that there are loss that you have incurred because of his actions or inactions, then you have been able to convince the judge that you have suffered a loss. Then the case might likely be tilted in your favor. So those are the 4 things that you must guide against. You must begin to consider it from the conception, from the initial stage of the contract, that these things must be there. It will help you when you are taking the case to the court, that I have done this, I have done these 4 things. Then you can proceed and approach the court. I'll continue to talk about this contract. It's also very important, and it's something that is troubling. Every day you see artists being in one tussle or the other, dragging themselves based on our approach to issues, which is not speaking well of the industry. Subscribe to my YouTube page where we continue this discourse. We talk more on some other various things. Thank you very much.